Hello everyone and welcome back to some more Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry for the channel. This series is available early to channel members along with certain other series on the channel. So hello channel members, and about a week later, hello everyone else. Today the Nighthaunts are going up against the Rotbringers in this kind of snowy village setup using the cards from the Catacombs wave of Warcry. So again, if we get one that says the game only lasts 3 turns, we will be increasing that to 4. So it's more of an elite setup for both sides this time, as both sides only have 5 miniatures. So both sides are broken up into a Dagger Hammer Shield 2-1-2 formation. So we have our 2-1-2 here for the Nighthaunts. Going from camera left, we have a Dreadblade Hollow rather. No, it is Harrow. It's Harrow. The one H word I didn't say. Dreadblade Harrow. Every time. With a Spirit Host. In the hammer is just the Knight of Shrouds, and then we have a second Dreadblade Harrow with a second Spirit Host in the shield. So I don't think the Nighthaunts do particularly well as a non-horde list in Warcry, but still haven't had time to paint up any more like Chain Rasps and the cheap units they have to fill out a longer list. So we're going elite again today. And here's our Rotbringers list featuring 2 Puscoil Blight Lords, which again, funny name, who I always call Blight Kings. But they're just really, really good models. Fast, even by normal standards, and super, super tough. But anyway, Dagger Hammer Shield 2-1-2. From camera left, we have Puscoil Blight Lord with the, I think that's the Lord of Blights. One of them is the Lord of Blights, one of them is the Lord of Plagues. I'm pretty sure that's the Blight one, right? And then that one is the Plague, who's by himself, the Lord of Plagues in the hammer. And then the shield is the second Puscoil Blight Lord, joined by a Blight King, with a filth encrusted shield, because you can't have a Rotbringer list in Warcry without at least one poop covered shield. And now it is time to randomize. Let's break there, break there, break there, break there, and see. You're our lucky selection of mission today. And then for deployment type, let's just break that there and see, you'll do. And we'll see what we randomize. More importantly is the mission. So, Purge. The players roll off, and the winner decides who's attacker, who's defender. The attacker secretly picks and notes down one of the quarters of the battlefield, either northeast, northwest, southeast, or southwest, using the arrow on the terrain card to represent north. Oh, right, okay, let me flip the other thing. At the end of the third battle round, the attacker reveals the quarter of the battlefield they picked. Oh, third, so yeah, we're going to 4. If any of the defender's fighters are wholly within that quarter, the defender wins the battle. Otherwise, the attacker wins the battle. Alright, interesting. And Vengeance. We're going full Batman. So the daggers start on the table, and oh, just the daggers start on the table. The hammers and shields both come in round 2. And the arrow indicating north, I'm guessing, is the top here. I mean, I'm counting this as north either way. This is going to be north end of the table up here. So, yeah, this will be the east, southwest. So that's how we're going to do it for that. We'll get set up. Be back, cover who's attacker, who's defender after this quick word from my channel sponsor. This video is sponsored by Noble Knight Games. Check out the video description below for an affiliate link that will take you through to their store, and it will help me out as well. Thanks. And just like that, we're back with everything set up. The Rotbringers won the roll-off and opted to be the defender. So their dagger starting on the left of the table, somewhat awkwardly, and the dagger for the Nighthaunts are on the right. So as the defender, their job is to try and defend all 4 table quarters, because one of them is the chosen one. One of them is the selected chosen quarter that the attackers want to have control of, and it's their job to make sure that it's purged of all of Nurgle's filth. Nurgle picked to be defender because they're really good at staying alive, and they just need to have a body in every quarter, and then that guarantees them the win. Again, we're going 4 turns, not 3, and I think that about covers it. It's going to be a quick turn 1 with only 2 activations per side, so let's go to the dice. And here's how the dice rolled out. The Nighthaunts scored a double 3 that they've used their wild dice to turn into a triple, and that's so the Spirit Host can do that like super duper stab where, was it crits do more damage, or every hit is a crit? I think it's every hit is a crit. It's the one super scary attack they have. The Rotbringers rolled a double 3, and they used their wild die to turn a single 6 into a double 6, so that leaves them with 3 singles, and the Nighthaunts with 4 naturally rolled singles, so the Nighthaunts will be going first. The game got started with one of the Dreadblade Harrows activating. Well, there's only two options, it's him or the Spirit Host. So it was the Harrow, and it just moved up to where you can see it behind the ruins there, and is just waiting there. I think the Puscoil Blightlord can reach it, but the Lord of Blights cannot. The Lord of Blights activated out of those two, and he moves 3 inches. He is real slow. So he did 2 movement actions to get him right down there in what is classed as the southwest corner, and he's just pitching up there. He is just going to stay there in case that is the selected corner, and it's up to the Nighthaunts to come kill him. After a bit of umming and ahhing and almost doing a move, the Spirit Host has instead decided to do the very not used action of waiting. So they've lost an action, they'll still get to activate and do one thing, but now the Puscoil Blightlord has to go, although he could also just wait if he wanted to. Nah, nuts to waiting. The Puscoil Blightlord activated, spent their double on Rush, so that put his movement up to 7 per action, and he moved twice. He has the fly rune mark and just kind of went straight down the diagonal there and is now in the southeast corner of the map. And their reinforcements are coming on bottom left corner and top middle, so the Lord of Blights can definitely move on based on where the Lord of Plagues is coming on. So they're just claiming quadrants, and now it's over to the Spirit Host to do a singular thing. And that singular thing was to get into combat with the Puscoil Blightlord. Sadly, the triple for the every hit counting as a crit isn't a bonus attack, it just makes your next attack do that. So unable to do it this round, and speaking of which, that is already the end of round 1. No points to add up at the end of round 1, but here's how the battlefield is looking. Reinforcements for one side, the attackers are coming on here, and top left, other side, bottom left, and at the top of the map there. It's Nurgle there, and Nighthaunts here and top left. So they'll be on the table first to get round 2 started. Top of round 2, so you should hopefully be able to see where the reinforcements are here. Lord of Plagues has come in standing on the rock here, because otherwise he actually wouldn't be able to be deployed. And top left, we've got the other Spirit Host and the other Dreadblade Harrow. Got the Knight of Shrouds down here for the Nighthaunts, and then behind that snowy tree is the other Puscoil Blightlord that came on with the Blight King with Filth Encrusted Shield right next to him, very close to the other Dreadblade Harrow that was already on the table. So with that, let's go to the dice. So the Nighthaunts got a natural 3-3, a natural 4-4, and they have turned a single 6 into a double 6, leaving them no singles. The Rotbringers got a natural triple as well, with a 2-2, a 1-1, and they're saving their wild die for this round, so they have 2 singles, meaning they will be activating first. The Puscoil Blightlord got the second round started. The one that's engaged with the Spirit Host decided to just stay there since that's his chosen quadrant to guard, and he went out swinging. So 2 sets of 4 attacks at strength 5 with a 2/5 damage split against toughness 4 and 28 wounds, I believe. Only the successes have been left due to limited dice, so the first set of attacks, not that great, only a crit, although that is 5 wounds, but still. Second attack was 3 normal hits, and in total that is 11 damage. So 11 of the 28 Spirit Host wounds. The Puscoil Blightlords have 38 wounds, and are also toughness 4. But that's his turn done. We're sticking down here because the Spirit Host decided to see how good they could hit back against the Puscoil Blightlord, spending that 1-1 on Frightful Touch until the end of this fighter's activation. Count each hit from each melee action made by them as critical hits instead. Now they get 6 attacks, but they're only strength 3, so they're looking for 5s and 6s, and haven't put the damage down yet to be a surprise, but yeah. First set of attacks had, in the end, 3 crits and a hit, but they all count as crits. Second set of 6 attacks wasn't as good, 2 hits and a crit, but again, all of them are crits. It's 1/3 damage, so that is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. That is 21 damage of the 38 wounds that Puscoil Blightlord has. That was nasty. The Blight King with the Filth Encrusted Shield, yes, I'm going to keep mentioning it, activated, moved to where you can see him engaged with the Dreadblade Harrow, kind of came in at a side angle with his mighty 3-inch move, just to try and make sure he's in that northeast quadrant, because he's going to be guarding that. And he swung, normally only 2 attacks, spent their double on Onslaught to get an extra die, and is hitting at strength 4 against toughness 4, so he needed 4s. Got 2 hits through and a crit for a total of 8. Yes, 2/4 damage. 8 wounds of the 25 that the Dreadblade Harrow has. The Knight of Shrouds activated for the Nighthaunts spent one of their doubles, double 4 was it? Whichever one wasn't the double 6, to rush to get a total of 14 inches across 2 movement actions, and has placed himself there. The other Puscoil Blightlord activated spent their triple as a double in order to get rushed, because 7 inches just put him within 2 inches of the other Dreadblade Harrow. He's got range 2 on that gigantic scythe of his on the back of the Blight drone, so he can swing from that distance. He did so looking for, I think it was just 3s, but either way he got a crit and a hit through for 7 wounds of the 25 of that Dreadblade Harrows, and he's setting himself over there in case that's the defendable table quarter. The Spirit Host that was up by that Dreadblade Harrow activated, moved 2 movement actions, so 6 inches each, but he didn't move the full second one, specifically just trying to be a blockade right there at the path to block off the Lord of Plagues and the Lord of Blights, and is just kind of leaving the Puscoil Blightlord up there with the Harrow. Speaking of the Lord of Blights, he's on the move, and I say that very loosely because, good grief, he is slow at 3 inches. He moved a total of 6 from down here-ish to there against the wall. I guess he's free to, because the Lord of Plagues is even further in the corner and equally as slow, so he isn't really getting anywhere other than that bottom quadrant. The Dreadblade Harrow that was engaged by the Blight King with the Filth Encrusted Shield activated, stayed in combat and just swung with 2 sets of attacks. I just realised you can't really see the dice, but in the first set of attacks he only got a single hit through. The Filth Encrusted Shield wielding Blight King isn't super aggressive, but he is very tanky with toughness 5, 25 wounds. So only a singular hit on the 5s and 6s the Dreadblade Harrow was looking for. Second set of 4 attacks at strength 4. He got a crit and a hit, so in total 1 crit, 2 hits, and that is 8 damage of the 25 wounds of the Blight King. Round 2 kind of ends with a whimper for Team Nurgle, because the Lord of Plagues activated, kind of hopped down off the rock he had to deploy on and just waddled his 3 inches on a second movement action to where you can see him, so he's just going to set up there, take the place of the Lord of Blights and hold that quadrant as his. And to end off round 2 entirely, a hand might have been tipped ever so slightly. The final activation was the Dreadblade Harrow that deployed in the top left corner, the one that got attacked by the Puscoil Blightlord. He wasn't locked in combat because the Puscoil Blightlord engaged at range 2, and they moved 10 inches. They are zooming. So he kind of did an L shape with his first action, and then an L shape with his second action, and is going to the support of the other Dreadblade Harrow, kind of implying that they want that Blight King in the top right dead with the Filth Encrusted Shield, and that is potentially their primary goal for the purge. Anyway, that takes us to the end of the round. There isn't really anything to show because there's no scoring, or, well, you know, it's win or lose in this one, and we can jump straight to round 3, which normally would have been the final turn of the game, but we are going to go to 4. So let's go to the dice for round 3. And here's the dice for round 3. The Nighthaunts got a double 4, they've turned into a triple and a double 2. Team Nurgle got double 3, and they had 2 wild dice, so they've made 2 more doubles with those. That meant it came down to a roll-off. The roll-off has already occurred, and it is the Rotbringers who will be taking first activation. So round 3, first activation was this Puscoil Blightlord, and he came out swinging so much so that we didn't have enough dice for successes. 2 sets of 4 attack strength 5, 2-5 split. 1 crit and 2 hits through in the first barrage, and 2 crits and a hit through in the second. And in total, that is, well, that's 15 alone from the crits. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, that's 21 on top of the 11 it already had. And yeah, it doesn't have 33 wounds, so the Spirit Host has expired. That is 1 ghost that has been exorcised. Used both actions for it, so he's still just sitting down here, but on the off chance that is the correct corner, he's now got it to himself, and so does the Lord of Plagues in the bottom left, I guess, unless the other Spirit Host goes for him. Team Nurgle's resilience was on full show there as the first activation this round for the Nighthaunts was the Dreadblade Harrow engaged with the Blight King, swung at him twice, so 2 sets of 4 attack strength 4, and you might only see a singular die there. Yeah, that's the 1 success that got through for 2 damage, taking him from 8 wounds up to 10. So he has, what, 15 left? Something like that. They're on either side of the wintry tree there, but you can see them both. The other Puscoil Blightlord was the next activation, moved right in, so they're within an inch to lock that Dreadblade Harrow in combat to force him to do a fallback if he wants out of it, which means he can't end that within combat range of the Blight King. Swung at him, managed to get 2 normal hits through and a wound, and that did 9, taking him up to 16, I think that is, yeah, 16 damage in total received. The Spirit Host got into combat with the Lord of Blights and spent their triple on Frightful Touch again, so every hit was counting as a crit. Only one set of 6 attacks though, and looking for 5s and 6s in general. 3 normal hits and a crit, but because of using that, that's all crits, which is 9 damage to the toughness 5, and I think he has 31 wounds. The Lord of Blight is 31, 32, somewhere around that, so still fine. Well, the Lord of Blight is smelling something fishy, and usually that's just himself, but in this case it's something else. So he did a disengage action followed by a move using a double for rush, and I got him next to the Knight of Shrouds, but not within an inch, so hasn't locked him in combat. The Knight of Shrouds activated and got into combat with the Blight King with Filth Encrusted Shield. Swung at him 4 attacks, looking for 5s, only got 1, so that's a single normal hit through for 2 more damage, taking the Blight King to 12 wounds, or 12 damage in total. Second last activation of the penultimate round for the Rotbringers is the Blight King. He swung into the Dreadblade Harrow twice, so in total it was 6 dice being rolled. There's the results. No crits at all this time, the dice weren't as kind. It was 4 normal hits for 2 damage each, so 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 more wounds on top of the 8 he had. That is 16, so I think they're 25, so 9 wounds left on that one. And the final activation of the round for the Nighthaunts was the other Dreadblade Harrow, who did a disengage and then an engage with the Blight King, which in the business we call a little sus. So they really want that Blight King to die for some reason. I wonder why. So with it almost certainly being the top right corner that is the one selected, all that's left is the Lord of Plagues. He could have motored at full speed and he still would not get close enough to matter by the end of the round, so all he is doing is engaging the Spirit Host. Not even taking a swing, just engaging him so that the first movement it decides to do, if it decides to leave, is a fallback, so it's only 3 inches instead of 6 or 7, however fast they are. So that takes us to the end of the round. Again, there's no scoring, it's just a win or lose scenario, so we can go straight through to the dice for the 4th and final turn. So here it is, the Nighthaunts got a natural triple 1 and then they turned a single 6 into a double. The Rotbringers got a natural triple 4 and have turned a single 5 into a double. It came down to a roll off and this time the Nighthaunts won, so they're taking first activation in the final round. Well, we have a returning visitor to get the round started. The Knight of Shrouds activated and spent their triple 1 on Spectral Summon. You can bring back something that's died previously with wounds or damage remaining equal to the value of the ability. So the Spirit Host that died is back with 1 wound because it was a triple 1. So he's there. That could be an extra activation. Then the Knight of Shrouds just swung into the Blight King twice. First set of attacks had a single hit through. Second set of attacks had a single crit through. So that was 6 more damage, taking him up to 18 in total of his 25. So he has 7 left. It's a real awkward fit up there, but the Puscoil Blightlord was the first one to activate. Moved into combat. Technically with both Dreadblade Harrows, but he struck at the one with the more wounds, had 16 wounds on him, got a crit and 2 hits through for a total of, I think that was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so that takes him to 25 in total, which is precisely enough that this Dreadblade Harrow will not be activating, nor will he be getting brought back by anything, because he is being banished to the Shadow Realm. The respawned Spirit Host got into combat with the Blight King, 6 attacks, just looking for crits, and that singular 5 there again, I think, was the only success for 1 wound. So, it's something, slowly chipping away. The other Puscoil Blightlord activated, who was down here, spent their triple 4 on Unnatural Regeneration, so you get double that value back as wounds, so that was 8. You can only use it if there's no enemies within 1, by the way. Then he moved twice and has moved up the table, so if the top right actually ends up not being the correct quadrant, that's been a big mistake, but it seems like it is, so he's moved up there, so on the off chance the Blight King does die, there's another model that is wholly within that quadrant and would probably secure the victory. So the other Dreadblade Harrow activated and announce attacks into the Blight King. The Blight King decided to do his reaction, impossible to wound. It uses up one of his actions, so when he activates he can only do one thing now. But it means that you announce it before, well, when a melee attack is announced but before dice are rolled, you subtract 1 damage from each allocated to this fighter to a minimum of 1. 1 crit and 2 hits got through, which would have been 8, which would have been enough to kill him, but each one loses 1, so that's 5, and that puts him at 24 in total, and he has 25 wounds. He lived on 1 wound. So just in case, the Lord of Blight's activated and has wandered his total of 6 inches across 2 movement actions up into the top left table quadrant, just in case, to hedge their bets a little bit. And the final action of the game for the Nighthaunts was the Spirit Hostess lived the whole game. 2 sets of 6 attacks into the Lord of Plagues, and all he's got to show for it is a crit and a hit for a total of 4 wounds. So the Lord of Plagues can technically activate. It doesn't really matter because being engaged with the target doesn't matter, but he could absolutely just retreat just to make sure he's fully in that table quadrant down there. The Blight King, who's been trying to get murdered this whole time, he has 1 action because he did a reaction. He doesn't need to use it. He's just going to survive. So with that we can go to the end and see which quadrant mattered, although I think we realised it already. So yeah, at the end of the battle it is revealed that it was the northeast quadrant of the table, aka top right, because northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest. So yep, and just out of curiosity, measured out, had the Blight King died, would that have changed anything? This Puscoil Blight Lord is riding the line. He is not wholly within because of that stupidly large base of his, so he actually would not have counted. So he would have been out as a scoring unit. But the other Puscoil Blight Lord, the one over here, he is wholly within this quadrant as well. So there was no doing anything for the Nighthaunts there. Nurgle's tankiness as the defender was too much to bear. Now, if we were playing like the newer missions and using the 2nd edition rules as per, you decide attacker and defender before drawing mission, as I recall. But with these old cards, you do it as a roll off, so that's why we do it that way. So it would not necessarily have been in Nurgle's favour. Like, being the defender was absolutely their best position. If they were the attacker, it would have been rougher, I think, to try and hide which quadrant was the correct one. But anyway, that is going to do it. I sincerely hope you enjoyed. This was probably a little bit of a shorter one due to both sides not being big on numbers. Either way though, please do remember to show your support, liking, commenting, sharing. If you can spare a little extra, pressing the thanks button, becoming a channel member, or checking out the channel sponsor to pick yourself up something via the affiliate link are all ways to support the channel in different methods. Hope you enjoyed either way. See you next time for the next one. Until then, ta-ta for now.